Hey, how are you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm so glad you guys are here. Um, you made it to the live stream of consciousness once again. My weekly happy place, which seems to be coming an adventure for some other people and a happy place for other people. So it makes it that much more fun. So thank you for being here and co-creating. And if you're watching in the replay, thank you for doing that. I feel very supported lately, and I'm just very grateful. Um, so you're watching the live stream of consciousness. Like I said, it's my happy place, um, and we're here to have some good conversations. But I do want to talk about my sponsor. I have a sponsor. Yes, indeed, my sponsor is Mind Dog TV. My friend Matt Napo is also a podcaster who has minddogtv.com, where he hosts a few different shows. He hosts one called Coffee with the Dog, and it's he's just such a great podcaster. He's an influence to me. And we were talking about growing this podcast, and he was suggesting sponsors, and he was kind of telling me how to do it. He was said, "I'll help you get some sponsors," and he said, "You know what? I'll actually be your first sponsor." So I want to thank Matt Napo for allowing me to enter this new realm of having somebody sponsor me. It feels so cool. It feels so official to be sponsored. Matt has some amazing guests on his shows. He has authors, he has comedians, he has all sorts of people. And it's just really cool to watch and listen to him. If you think I have a good voice and I'm cool to listen to, he's 100 times that. He's just so, his voice is like deeper, and he's just, I don't know, he's got more swagger or something. But anyway, Matt is awesome. So if you want to go check out a show, tell him I sent you, and that would be awesome because he's my sponsor. I see I got a couple of comments here. I see Lynn, I see Jilly. Thank you, Jilly. Lynn cannot wait to hear Mindy. What's up, Lynn? Welcome. It's happy place time. So yes, I got a bunch of comments happening, which is cool. Interact if you feel like saying something. Don't be shy. This is my happy place, but it's your happy place too. You're welcome to be here and listen. So it's very cool. You know what? I do want to talk about one more thing before I bring on this week's guest, and that is what's going on with the show. Because now, I told you guys that Carrie Ann was helping me book some guests, and make this happen less spur of the moment, which was fine. It was happening great. I love all the guests that I've had, but now I'm booked up until the middle of September. It's awesome, Lynn. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was so awesome having you, and I hope the viewers also felt your energy. I felt it. It was great. I love this place because it's such an energy exchange. But I'm going to just share my screen here for a minute. I do have the calendar I wanted to share. So this month, I had Lynn Palizzi on the show, and today's Mindy. I have Angel Eyes Dawn Marie next week, the 18th and the 25th. I actually have guests. I'm super excited about them. My guest on the 18th is Lynn Laborde. She's awesome. I'll tell you all about her the week before or at the end of the show, I guess. The next week I have Carla Quito on the show. She's also awesome. Then we have Robin Spieler. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I'm excited for that. And I actually just booked the 15th of September a guest who was on the show before. His name's Bowen Bramwell. He's an artist who is recovered from addiction and abuse and all sorts of things. And he's just become this incredible artist who does these things called soul stories. And soul stories are basically, it's like a soul portrait, but it's more of an illustrative style of artwork, and he's just phenomenal. So I'm excited he's coming up on the show. So yes, the live stream is my happy place, but now it's even become something to look forward to week to week. So I'm super excited. So now it's time for the guest. Wow, I've rambled on for quite a bit. Not used to doing that by myself when I'm by myself. But this week's guest is awesome person who was supposed to be on the show right as we were transitioning and Jesse was leaving and I was doing the moment. So we got messed up and I couldn't have her on the show then, but I'm having her on the show now. I'm super excited. She's a psychic medium, a healer, and an angelic messenger is what she calls herself. And we were just talking before the show, and she said she just lets it happen, and it all comes from channeling, and I'm super interested in that. So let's bring her on the show and let's talk to Mindy Fesinstine. I hope I'm saying that right. Is that how you say your last name?
That works.
That
Fesinstine.
works. Fesinstine. You know,
My last name. I should have kept my maiden name.
you know what? I always said Fesinstine, and then I looked at the spelling, and I'm like, oh, it's no IEN, or it's INE, but that's like the Sistine Chapel, right? That's how that's spelled.
It's Fesinstine, actually. We say it.
Fesinstine.
Yeah.
Fesinstine.
Yeah.
Mindy, welcome to the show, Mindy Fesinstine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you're super welcome. I want to at least give you the honor of saying your name right. You know what I feel like not enough people pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we'll just go by Mindy. Mindy works.
Well, that's cool. Mindy's cool. Mindy's totally cool. So, welcome to the show. I'm glad you could finally be here. I'm glad things are gearing up for the show. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you. But you don't get away with the things that you've got to do as a ritual here. So the first question that I always ask everybody is to give me your definition of consciousness. What is consciousness?
So consciousness is awareness. As it evolves, we evolve. So events in our everyday life, getting a new job, or my daughter going to college, or everything like that, it's all consciousness. It's awareness. It all changes, the way that we all look at things, I think, and someone's point of view. And I just think it creates a better understanding of spirit. It lets us connect more to spirit, being more aware, being in the now, love and kindness, and it just all comes together, and it all helps with, our relationship with above, so to speak. So it just, I don't know. I guess it's just being in the now, so to speak.
Being in the now. Okay. That's a good definition. And I would definitely agree with that. You started talking about, things that happen to you, like consciousness is, your daughter graduating, or, whatever. And that's true. Consciousness is existence, right? Consciousness is moment to moment. So I understood what you're saying. I just want to clarify that to anyone who kind of might have been getting confused, but that's what it is consciousness is the moment flowing throughout every infinity, everything that exists. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Awesome. See, that wasn't so hard, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I had to think about that.
People get nervous, it's funny.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Some of the people who are coming on the show, it's like their first time on a show or second time, and they're so nervous. And I say, beforehand, I'm like, it's just a conversation, you're just talking to me, you know what I mean? So it's almost like, I came to your office and we're hanging out now. But we're going to talk about you a little bit more than me. But so some of the things I introduced you as a psychic medium, a healer, those are words that we're using a lot, and especially on this show, people who work with energy and have some sort of connection to something higher than themselves, right?
Right.
So the next question, before we get into really you specifically, this is about you, but what you do now is kind of how you got to what you do now. And meaning, what was it that made you realize you were a psychic medium? Like, what is that experience like?
You know what? I have to start by saying that it's the most incredible feeling in the world to be so grateful. That's the most, like, the one thing I'm grateful for my family, but I am so incredibly grateful for spirit. My dad, who I was very close to, and my grandmother, who actually passed away on August 4th. So I thought this might be really cool.
Just this past?
No. She passed.
It's the anniversary.
But
it's anniversary.
It was on August 4th.
Right.
And I was like, what a cool date for me. This is because I know she's here. I'm like,
oh, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. So
well,
I'm just,
welcome. She's welcome too.
Thank you. I just it's neat. I keep her with me. She's with me all the time. That's my grandma. She's on my desk.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, she's with me all the time. She interrupts all the readings. It's great. So I'm just I couldn't imagine not being able to speak to them. I think to be motivated to be able to hear my dad and to hear my grandmother and then to give messages to my family and
Mhm.
friends is just it's it's beyond. It's not really
Sure. No, no, I
could ever
can't.
do.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. It's amazing. That's why I love talking about that stuff. But
Yeah.
you can't skirt the question. What was it that got you there? Was
Okay.
there a moment that you realized that you had this ability,
Oh,
or?
I had a lot of moments. So,
Okay.
I kind of, it's been my whole life. So I think it started when I was like 3 or 4, whatever. My brother was playing with blocks with my grandfather. And I remember watching him play. I could describe my grandfather to the T. I see people like they're right there.
Mhm.
And he's playing with him, blah, 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 blah. Now, I didn't think anything of it. And then later on, my mom, we were talking about it, and she's like, oh, your brother still remembers your grandfather playing with him, and he wasn't here anymore. I'm like, he was dead? Like, I'm like, I thought, like, I didn't realize that he wasn't actually, still here. I was actually seeing
Wow.
spirit at that time. Yeah, it was
Wow.
crazy. So my whole family is really, very connected. My dad was extremely connected. We'd go to restaurants and he'd be like talking to the waitress, you have 6 kids and one's in college and one's in a
Wow.
wheelchair and one, yeah, he would
Yeah.
scare us, because back then I was a kid. I didn't know. I'm like, oh
Right.
my God,
And that's not really common more for a male to, kind of do that, especially in public, I feel like. I mean, there's a few. I
yeah,
mean,
when
just,
my dad was, I couldn't even explain him. He was a
right,
very talkative person, I
right,
guess I
right,
want to
right,
say. He
right,
would say anything to anybody. He didn't care what anybody.
right, right. Yeah, I used to
So
get embarrassed about that from my mom too, but now it's like totally see it in a different way,
yeah,
of,
yeah, I get
and
past it. I'm
yeah,
past. Yeah,
yeah,
now it's like whatever.
yeah.
My mom's also extremely intuitive. She like harps on things. Like when she says something, she has to say it 86 times until it's like there or it came true or I told you so.
She
Or
makes it happen. She
oh,
manifests it.
well, we try to put that off, but yeah. So but my great grandmother, it ran all the way down the line. Like
Right, right.
my grandmother, my great grandmother actually had her husband come to her one day when she was at work. She was like in a sewing factory back then. And she's like, your daughter, which was my grandmother, was in an accident. You need to go and go get her. And this is
Oh,
where it was.
wow.
And she went running to get her. And she actually got her to the hospital right on time and she lived. And thank
Wow.
God. Yeah, it
Wow.
was neat. So it goes back a long time. So flash forward, I had a hard, it was just a rough childhood, I guess. I had a sick family member. We had an ambulance at the house every single day. It
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah, he's okay now and he's great and he's living his best life.
Oh, wow.
Thank God. It took, and that was, I want to say thank you to my dad, but yeah, that's a story for another day. But
Wow.
needless to say, it was very hard. It was frustrating. It was hard. So I wasn't in a good place. At one point, I felt like I was always on my own because my parents were always dealing with him. And now my mom's gonna hear this for the first time, but sorry, Mom.
Mhm.
I just really wasn't in a good place. And I was outside, and at that very moment, I felt this light around me that was just I can't even describe it. I knew that an angel was hugging me at that time.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and I know it was Archangel Michael, and it was so, I didn't know it was Michael back then, but
Right.
it was just
You
an
knew you
incredible.
were crossing realms. You
Yeah,
right.
I felt the light. I could see
Yeah.
it to this moment. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
runs through me. Like I felt his wings around me. It was unbelievable. I
Wow.
don't know how long it lasted, but it was a couple of minutes. And then after that, I was just like content.
Mhm.
It was super strange.
You have a very content vibe.
thank you.
I totally relate. I'm
I
like,
don't know if my
totally.
husband would say that, but
Well,
I don't know.
that's another story altogether, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I just before you continue, Jilly was asking a nice question. Jilly, I can say Jilly. Her name's Jill, but her screen name is Jilly. She's asking about your grandmother and your father. I guess you said you talk to them, you hear them, right?
I
So,
do.
do you hear them in their voice? Was the question, which is kind of good question. That's
You know what? I never really, yeah, I guess I do,
yeah,
because that's how I remember them.
yeah.
So, yeah, I
Vibration.
hear
That's
my
the
dad's
vibration.
laugh.
Right.
I hear his sarcasm, his
Mm.
funniness. I hear it all.
Right.
I
Right.
hear
Right.
my grandmother. It's not necessarily her voice though, but
Right.
it's
You
all,
feel her. You feel it. You know it's her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. We
It's
also have Anna Iva saying hi.
hi.
Uh, she's asking if we can ask psychic questions. I want you to finish your story first, but that's really up to you. I would love for you to
Yeah, I'll pull some cards.
field and channel. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Um, so where was I? So fast forward to I guess my 20s or whatever. I got married or whatever,
Right.
and I lost a child.
Right.
And yeah, it's okay. I know he's there now, and he's with me, and it's fine.
Right.
And I have a name for him, but my husband doesn't know that I named him. And then
He may know now.
I name
Charlene.
mine now. Yeah, I won't
Charlene
even
says
say
hi.
hi. And then I lost my grandmother,
Oh,
and it's funny because, and then right when I lost my grandmother, I found out I was pregnant again. So my
okay.
daughter is named after her and her husband,
Okay.
which is pretty
Okay.
cool.
That's
And
cool. Yeah, that is
it's
cool.
a big thing to me because I was like, oh my God, if I could have just told her I was pregnant, a few days later, I would have been like, oh, but she knew.
Mhm.
She knows now. So it's all
Right.
good, you know.
Right.
And so then after that, I probably waited, I've always known everything my whole life. I was always know it all. I've
Right.
always,
Right. Right.
like, I
Right.
would tell my parents, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And
Right.
I forgot to mention that, because my dad he would take us, he was a teacher and an accountant, so he would be off in the summer. So he would take us down to Florida. And on the way there, he's like, oh, we're stopping in Virginia. And he took us to the Edgar Casey Institute and he had us
Oh,
tested.
wow.
Yeah. So I came back that I was psychic, and so was he, and we were tested. So that was really
Wow.
neat. So it was a really good
They
conversation.
test you there, huh? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Wow.
neat. I was like, I wonder if I have like my mom, maybe she has papers or something. I don't know if they
Right.
give you anything. I should ask her.
Wow.
Like, Ma, do
You
you
have
know?
to do you have to like move something across the room with your mind or
You know what? I remember a whole bunch of cards and stuff like that. Like they put
cool.
cards and
Right, right, right.
it was a lot of, you were in different rooms and different things. It was really,
Wow.
I was
That
about
must have been
11.
interesting. Yeah, interesting
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really neat. And my mom
Cool.
was like, she wasn't tested positive, but she is now.
Wow.
So it's fine. So anyway, flash forward. I guess, I just became interested in it. I started hearing voices in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Once a few years after my grandma died, to the point where I was hearing people like physically talking, like I could hear them, like I'm speaking to you, and
Wow.
and I'd be waking up, and I'm like to my husband, I'm like, Jeff, get out of bed. There's people in our house. I'm like, you got to get out of the house,
You
and
thought it was
and
outside of
he'd
your
be
head.
going downstairs with like
Wow.
whatever he could find, and he's like, oh my God, and he's like, there's nobody here, and I'm like, there's somebody in our house. I hear them, but it just started happening. It kept happening every night.
Wow.
And then I started seeing shadows, and I started asking people, and I started, and for years I would tell all my friends, I'd be sitting at my desk and someone's patting my head. I
Oh,
feel
wow.
that constantly. And I'm like, what? So one thing led to
Wow.
the other, and I just started taking classes. I'm like a spiritual junkie, I think. I didn't know I could be so addicted to spirituality. It's
Right.
crazy. And I just started taking class after class after class, and now I'm a psychic medium, and I hear angels, and I hear guides, and I heal, and I love to heal. I
That's
think
awesome. I
it's
think,
really become
I- yeah, I think a lot of people really open up through taking a lot of classes. You know what I mean? It's just, some people's path is to just
right.
constantly re relearn and hear and be have it reinforced and like learn different techniques, you know.
Well, I started taking Reiki, and I became a Reiki master, and then I started
Awesome.
taking IET, which is healing with the angels. I started doing that.
Okay, can you explain to me? I didn't know. I thought IET was integrated energy
Integrated
therapy,
energy
right?
training, but you're
So
bringing your angels in by placing your hands on certain parts of their body, and you're
okay,
channeling their energy into
okay.
into you to
So
heal.
how is that different than Reiki? That's what my question is.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Reiki is, I feel like I'm just channeling it from spirit, like it's running
Just
through my
source energy,
body.
just source energy
Yeah,
as
yeah,
pure energy, not something,
correct.
not a specific energy.
Right.
Right,
So
right. Okay,
so
that makes
with
sense.
all that, I feel like I've passed all that, and now I actually heal. I bring in Jesus when I heal.
Wow.
So yeah, I bring in the angels and I bring all of that, but now I channel him. And it took years of meditations and all of that, and now I bring in Mary, and she gives out like healing blankets
Wow.
when I before I heal them. She like puts a blanket over them,
So you
and
know
then
that.
I channel with him, and I see him, I feel his hands on me, and
Wow.
it's yeah, it's incredible. And
Wow.
and then I do mediumship, and it's kind of evolved over the years. I was in a class, I was in an angel card class,
Mhm.
and I was reading somebody, and and all of a sudden this person actually saw the spirits like jump in my body, and I was reading this person, and both of her twin grandmothers had jumped into me. And
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, I had teeth, and I'm wearing this, and my hair needs to be fixed, and look at my pearls, and like I gave her a whole reading because I was in the middle of reading her of like everything. And after that, I was reeling it from the class. It took a while for me to like
So
get
wait, so back up a second. I'm sorry to interrupt. You were channeling this woman?
I was channeling
So the two women?
I was channeling two women at the same time. They were grandmothers.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they both were inside of me, and
Okay.
I just started talking like them. I got
Right.
up and danced.
Wow.
It was crazy, and I've never done that before. So I
Wow.
got out of the class, and they're like, "Go outside, rub the dirt on your hands, ground yourself." I was like
Oh,
eating
wow.
everything I could because I freaked myself out. I'm like that, and then at that point, I was like, "Oh my God, I have to do this again." That was freaking amazing.
That's
So
fascinating.
I
Yeah.
started taking trance classes. So
Okay.
I took
Okay.
so I started doing a lot of classes with people like overseas and things of that sort. And that's amazing. So now when
So
I do my
fascinating. Yeah.
medium so when I bring mediumship and I do that, I let them speak through me a lot. I don't even know that I can't now. It's kind of, I did a reading the other night, and her father stepped in. So it's like I give
Wow.
messages, but then if they have something to say, I just let them speak through me.
That's
And
so cool.
I'm totally cool with it. And they're like, and then they're like, blah, I'm
Right.
like,
It's so
yeah.
weird. I gotta say, I'm gonna be honest. First, I'm gonna say hello to Carla Gito. Hello, beautiful
Hi,
soul.
Carla.
I hope Gito is the right way to pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
Um, and Kate, I will say, it's very possible. Uh, we're just kind of getting Mindy's story right now and talking to her, but
I'll pull some cards. We'll see. We'll figure it
so
out.
amazing, Mindy. We see Sharon out there. Thanks for coming, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Awesome, very cool.
I
Uh,
love you. Yeah.
so I gotta say I was being honest. I remember many years ago coming across some channelers on YouTube, and they were trance channelers, and they would go into a trance and they would become these other beings and talk about the Galactic Council and things that were really out there for me. I was
Right.
not ready to receive that at all.
Yeah, you
Um,
have that coming up on your show in the next few weeks too.
yeah, I was and I met I think the person that changed my perception of it all was Sarah Curley.
Oh,
She
she's
she was doing an event with Steve Interante for
mhm,
White Light Productions,
right.
and Steve said, "Oh, I'm having this woman." I was like, "Oh, channelers." I was like, and I watched her video, and I had an emotional response to it, and I was like, "Whoa, that's." that's peculiar,
Yeah, she's
and
amazing.
yeah, and when I saw her in person, I had an emotional response, and we became friends, and it was just so amazing, and it really changed my perception. I mean, I do think that some of the channelers I see, I don't really resonate with. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? And some of them I see, I'm just amazed because for me, it doesn't happen that way. For me, I feel like I'm channeling when I'm doing my artwork. When I'm being me, and I'm doing a photograph, let's say, and I put it on my computer and it's talking to me. It's telling me, hey, flip me over, double, do this, do that, and I create a piece of artwork. I feel like that is
Absolutely.
how it works for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I see people who, like yourself, I haven't seen you do it, and I'm excited if you're going to do anything like that. But David Young, people who channel
Right.
musicians like George Harrison, and all of a sudden they're writing music that you're just like, whoa, that sounds like George Harrison, and it's just really amazing because I'm a big believer in energy is everything,
Right.
and infinite, and so I believe in all the things that go along with that, reincarnation and past lives, and so the fact that I think this energy can travel and manifest within certain people is, I resonate with that now. I get it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm a little envious. I'm like,
It's
oh, somebody,
crazy.
I wish somebody would talk through me. But I
Well, I'll be honest. So I've been doing trance for, I'd say, probably about a year. So a lot
okay,
of my trance right now is through mediumship.
okay.
Is through, when I tune into somebody's family member. So there's
Mhm.
other people that you have coming up that just are like, okay, I'm out, and then there's God, so to
Right.
speak.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
not there yet, but I will be.
Right, right, right.
So
No, that's fascinating. And I think, it's interesting because I've always kind of been like, hey, I don't have any of these cool, psychic gifts.
cancel,
But
cancel.
but but I know that, I'm a healer, you know what I mean? And I know that I have this energy that is special.
Right,
And I'm starting to think like maybe I should be taking some classes, maybe I should be trying to like take a class just to see how it resonates with me and if it
right.
if it draws me in, because that's what a lot of the people I've been talking to, like yourself, are telling me these stories. Like I did this, and all of a sudden it resonated, and I was like, "This is who I am," and I just think it's so amazing to me, and I love the energy. You know what I mean? It's like, sitting here talking to you, it's like I feel it. I feel
Thank you.
the transfer of energy, and the fact that we're just vibrating high right now. We're just like,
I love
let's
that.
let's get in
Oh,
this place and let's vibrate high, and let's see who's out there to vibrate with us. It's amazing. uh it's
yeah.
really good. So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, that's
um
okay. I don't know where I was.
I think you're kind of telling us where you're at now, and what you're doing, or
So I love to heal. I love to do everything. So my
right,
my
okay,
readings are, so when I read somebody, they're a little bit of everything. And I tell people, I say, listen, I will guarantee that you'll get what your soul needs to hear, but I can't tell you that
mhm,
it's definitely your father. Because people all the time, I just want my mom. I'm like, I will never guarantee that. You can,
right.
I'll get you somebody else. I'll
You
refer
get
you.
you get what
You get
comes.
what you get. It could be an angel. It could
Yeah,
be advice. It could be whatever. It could be healing. It's
the
it's all
spiritual gumball machine.
it's all divinely guided. People try to book me
Yeah,
all the time, and I'll be like, we're not supposed to have it today. We're supposed
right,
to have it. I reschedule or I book or it's not supposed to be till next week. And they're like, oh, I just can't do it. Blah, blah. Don't worry about it. Just call me in a month whenever it's
right,
supposed to happen. And then when it happens, and they're like, oh, did you know that my father passed away on this day? Well, I said, see, I'm going to have to go ahead and reschedule.
right. So
So
just speaking of that, I'm just gonna pop up your website there so people
thank
can
you.
see where to get in touch with you if
Yeah.
if
So my website,
anybody's interested in this. Yeah,
the funny part is I've taken I'm not even, it's still a little under
it
construction.
looks
I've
great.
taken the last year to really, I didn't know what I wanted to put on there. I do a little bit of
Mhm,
everything,
mhm, mhm.
a lot of spiritual guidance, healing, mediumship, trance, whatever.
Right,
And I feel like it's just taken so long to see where I am. So now, I
right,
do have things on there that I do. And either way, the reading is always going to be
I
sacred.
think it looks great. As a matter of fact, boom, let's pop it up there
Thank
right
you.
now.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, this really honestly looks great, and I understand your dilemma because I do so many things, and I love to do so many things. I don't like to just do the same thing every day. So oh, I don't know what happened there. There you go.
Interference. That was fine.
So being an artist, I do photography, I do video, I do all sorts of things. And if you go to my website, it's a mess. You know what I mean? It's like it's you know, but I'm proud of it. I've been thinking about putting some of this live stream stuff on it because that's part of what I'm doing now and who I'm becoming.
Absolutely.
Uh, but
Well,
I'm trying to figure
you're
out.
a tech guy to all our spiritual people. Oh my gosh, you could
Yeah, yeah,
advertise
yeah,
that
yeah,
big time.
yeah.
I think
Totally,
that's huge. So a
totally.
lot of my readings are really pushing people to the next level for whatever
Right,
it is
right,
to heal what's in front of them and to move forward with that. You know what I mean? So a lot of people come in and they don't know what's going on in their own life. It's kind of like I need to point it out to them. They don't need that. They don't know that they have a sobriety issue or they
right,
have a family issue or
right, right,
it's
right.
kind of like I want to say like love is blind almost, something like that. It's like
Okay,
they just don't see what's in front of them, and then we
sure.
talk and they're like, I never thought of that. I never
That's
realized.
amazing. Oh, Mindy, that's so powerful because I feel that way. I feel like so many people are struggling so much and they don't even realize what their issue is. And it's so
Right.
simple. And it's like sometimes it just takes a conversation and say, hey, you ever think of this? I just want to say, Kate was commenting. A friend saw a trans medium and she transformed into her dog who had passed. That's got
Wow.
that's got to be an interesting experience. And Kate is also, and she says, crazy. That is pretty crazy. But she's also asking for some help.
Please
She's
tell my
saying,
soul, ask for it. Ask, why
yeah,
aren't you sleeping though? Are you sleeping because you feel like why don't you just ask? So are people coming to you that you're hearing voices? I have a million questions. I would say, okay, I want no messages, no nothing from 8 p.m. Earth time to 8 a.m. Earth time. I take messages while I sleep. I don't want anyone coming to me. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me sleep and getting a good night's rest, and just ask your angels and guides for that.
right,
I'm not really sure. I feel like, is it
right.
because your dad is talking to you? What is it?
That's so cool. That's like you put on your spiritual answering machine.
Uh,
I'm not here right now. Come back
oh
when.
yeah, totally. I'm like, oh, I'll take messages while I sleep, and I remember them. Please let me remember them the next day. That was a really big thing when I first started.
Right.
I would see all kinds of crazy, like everything all over the bedroom. I would
Right.
just see like a dog in the corner or shadows. And, at that point, I didn't know whether to be scared, whether like what kind of energy am I talking to,
Right.
about,
Right.
blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Right.
And, I've learned how to like, ground, surround, protect, and, and you can't hurt me because I said so, and you need to go, and I'm clearing this space. Go.
Mhm.
You can't come. We're closed for business.
Right.
And I feel like it really made a difference. I wasn't sleeping for a long time either because I kept
Mhm.
feeling like somebody was trying to give me messages. I was trying to
Mm.
get it, and still I was awakening back then, which I
Wow.
know now. But you know, meditation has just pretty much changed my life too. I've
Right. Right.
never that's so many people like, oh, I meditate, and it took a really long time for me to like learn how to like bubble my thoughts and actually tune
Mhm.
into the meditation. But
Right. Right.
if
Right.
anybody, that's huge. you
That's
know
that's a technique people actually use. They look at their thoughts as bubbles,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so that's
just
a
yeah.
cool
And
way,
now I
a
just
cool way
really
to
just
say it. Yeah,
concentrate on the meditation.
yeah.
I'm like,
Well, how
what
long
am
have
I
you
doing?
been? How long have you been meditating for?
Oh, 8 years, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
I
and
think
now I meditate at
meditation
least
is.
3 times a day.
Yeah, I feel like meditation is like a gateway drug, right?
Oh,
It's
absolutely. Once you really know how to meditate and you learn to do it and you start, like, my guides are like right in my face. Like I literally see faces of people right in front of me.
Oh, I get that sometimes when I'm meditating. Yeah, absolutely. Just
Yeah,
like
and you're like, "Oh
faces.
my,"
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm like almost like my eyes are closed, but I'm like, it's so
Right.
miraculous. It's like candy. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
my
That's
gosh, I'm
interesting.
seeing,
Yeah,
I'm seeing people, and I'm
yeah,
seeing my dad, and I'm seeing my grandma, and I'm
yeah.
seeing messages, and I'm seeing angels, and I'm like, I more,
Right.
how could you
So
not go back and meditate? It's like,
interestingly enough, a lot of times I can recall seeing myself, like seeing my own face.
okay,
And then I don't remember who it was. It may have been Sarah Curley. So, Sarah Curley, yes. Oh, I have it over there. Sarah Curley did a soul portrait of me, and it was an image of me. So
your higher self,
she basically told me that I was one of my spirit guides, like I was my own spirit guide, and that
that's
made it
awesome.
made so much sense to me. And especially, like I said, when I meditate, it's almost like I'm seeing myself and I'm seeing other faces, but I'm seeing myself in those other faces.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's really interesting. And on that note, I certainly something very interesting as far as awareness and being spiritual and maybe being a little bit crazy, um, is being able to go out and meet people, because I was never a social person really, but now I'm starting to be a little
Yeah,
more social, and I meet people and I see myself reflected in them. I can feel it. It's
absolutely.
like, it's not even like anything specific that they do that
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's a reflection of me. It's just a feeling. It's like I feel,
They're part of
like,
your soul group. You were supposed
yeah,
to meet them.
yeah,
You know them from before you came here, so that's
yeah,
why you feel
yeah,
so connected to them,
yeah. It's
which is
such a good, it's
amazing.
so cool. Yeah, it's such a cool
Yeah,
feeling.
and now you're so talkative.
Yeah. You know what, this show, this whole thing has really changed it just, I don't want to say changed me. I think it just brought out something, that was dormant, which is enjoying connecting to other people. I mean, it hasn't been for a long time. I will say this as a lesson in spirituality and manifesting your thoughts, right? So
Right.
for a long time, I really believed, and I would say out loud to people, I was very frustrated with most people that I met. And I would say to, my family or my friends, would be like, 95% of humanity doesn't get it. They just have no clue. They just don't get it. You know what I mean? And I felt that, and I believed that, and I realized at some point that believing that was manifesting it. Like, those were the kinds of people that I was meeting. And I started to change my perception about people and really start to try to see the good in people. And certainly there are people who, I don't vibrate with, and I don't resonate with, and I don't want to necessarily be around. But
Yeah,
for the most part, I can very easily see the good in somebody and feel positive and try to see that reflection. You know what I mean? And something that also I've been trying to practice recently, which again has always been kind of innate in me, but now it's been activated, and I'm using crazy terms, is being very aware of how you make other people feel. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like just being able to just and grandmothers always say it. You know what I mean? Like, you just smile at someone and you can make their day. And
Right.
it's so overlooked, that little the power in that,
Yeah.
is so overlooked, because it is powerful. And I was listening to Matt, who is the sponsor of the show, and they were talking about, that, like, if only everybody would just kind of look out for each other and lift each other up, this place would be in much better shape, and the world outside, that 95% of the people I was talking about, which I don't believe anymore. There's a percentage of people out there who are living in fear, and struggling right now because of all the crap that's going on. But is that crap even real? You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't
it's
even watch the news anymore. My family thinks, they're like, "What's wrong with you? You don't know about the world?" I'm like, "I can't watch it. I don't watch TV. I hardly see anything anymore. I
yeah.
can't even look at Facebook half the time."
Yeah. Well, I think to me, it's like it's become so ridiculous to be like, all right, you can't still believe that this is reality, can you? Like, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to be like, all right, you're letting us be in charge, like, come on. But but
It's
whatever.
true.
Like I said, that's why I love talking to people like you and just having these conversations and focusing on that. Like, I went to the New Life Expo a few weeks back,
Who's
and
there?
like, yeah, just like, just really focusing on it. And that's why I believe for me personally, I need to, start. I mean, I did meditation classes with Steve Interante that were
Oh, that's
just
great.
amazing
Right.
for a couple of years. I was there every
Mhm.
week, and I haven't been doing it regularly. And I feel like some training and maybe some mentorship will help
Right.
bring out some things that are dormant.
Start
Uh,
with meditation. It's huge.
yeah, no, I've been doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do got to start meditating again. Sharon Brensick
Thank you,
uh,
Sharon.
says you have a calming presence and come across as sincere. I feel like
Oh.
talking to both of us. I hope she is. But
I'm sure it's both of us. Thanks,
yeah,
Sharon.
but that, what, and that's what this is about, and that's really what I found. It's done for me. I mean, I think you may have seen the show when I was doing it with Jesse, but this started as, I was doing a live stream for Jesse Blaze. He was teaching a class over at Tranquility Within, which is in Patchogue, and it was during COVID, so they were like allowing a couple of people in the room, and I said, why don't we do a live stream of it? And so I was helping facilitate that. And then after his class was done, he was like, hey, why don't we do more of this? And why don't you come on the show as my co-host? And it was really the first time I ever even considered coming in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. And it was just because of our friendship and the dynamic that we had. And I watched the old shows, and we had a cool dynamic, and he was more high energy and like excited, and I was always like the calm one. But you know
Not anymore.
Anna says Mindy is beautiful.
Thank
Anne
you.
says Mindy is beautiful. I agree. And Kate says so calm and relaxed.
Oh,
You
thanks.
are, and that's such a again, that's such a vibe. I feel like I'm so proud of being able to give that to other people, right? It's just
Yeah.
like,
That's wonderful. You know what's it's really great, like the spiritual community. It's
mhm,
funny because it's like a whole different world out there than what I've ever known. Like,
mhm,
over the past, 6 years or whatever, I
mhm,
found, Long Island Spiritual and all
mhm.
these people. And it's like the minute I meet them, they're my friend just because
Yeah,
so
yeah,
weird. Like they're spiritual. Oh, we're
yeah,
best
yeah.
friends. Like we have,
No,
there's all kinds of gatherings at people's houses or,
yeah,
and I meet people and it's like, I feel like I know you. And because, we get each other, or we're in the same realm. It's kind of like, you're my friend too. It's like I meet one of my friends and I'll be like, oh, you're my friend too. And we're just automatic. It's so crazy how that works.
totally,
Yeah,
totally. Jill says she's smiling. You're making Jill smile.
it's true.
Yeah. Do you
It's,
know Jill? I feel like you would get along great with Jill if you don't know her already.
I don't know, Jill.
Jill is awesome. She's
Hi,
been
Jill.
a viewer, a long time viewer.
Oh,
She
nice.
she made this beautiful, beautiful bracelet for me.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Uh,
Does she sell them?
she does. I
Oh,
want her to be on the show, and I want to give her website and stuff away, but
no.
she's not ready, but I think she is. But
Just come in for 5 minutes and make an
yeah,
appearance.
yeah, you could do that. You know what? That's a great idea.
You should just come in and be like, look what I do.
Yeah.
You know?
I should do that. I should have a
Oh my
show of
gosh,
just
you
people
could
just
just
coming
sell
in
them in
and
art
saying,
clothing.
it's like the art fair show. Just have people come in and say, hey, this is what I do. This is what I make. This is where you get in touch with me. You
Absolutely.
just gave
Yeah,
me,
you could have like a
you
little
just gave
show of
me,
like
you
all
gave
the
me a
spiritual
great
people.
idea. Yeah, you gave me a great idea for an episode.
Yeah, you could have like
It's
10
so
people
true.
in.
Or so
Oh, this
true.
is what I sell. This is what I sell. This is what I do.
You know what? It's perfect. I love it. I actually, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to have
Oh my God, that's who I am. I push people to
a
like
live stream of consciousness, like fair, craft fair, live
that's
online.
perfect. And we should be able to like buy it somehow.
I
So
love
you
it.
should make like a one page so we can all buy it for
I can
Venmo this one. There you go.
I can definitely facilitate this, and you are amazing for bringing up. We're getting the people in the chat room to encourage
Do
you
it. Oh, look, Jilly's
encourage each
gonna
other.
come.
She's saying to do it. Yeah,
There
nice.
you go. That's awesome. I love it. Oh my God.
There we go. See that you've riled my chat room into
Yeah.
life.
There you go.
Now,
And that's for you, Jilly, this card that you're
oh,
protected by Archangel Michael. He's with you, so it's time to step up and get out. It's time to speak your truth there, girl.
there you go.
You can't be afraid.
She knows that card is perfect for
Oh,
her.
and they're falling all over. Aw, that's
Awesome. So
great.
you're gonna pull some cards. Awesome.
Oh yeah, I could do that. Who wants a card?
Tell me some. Give me some advice of what spiritual modality should I explore next?
So my big thing, a lot of people that are coming into their gifts come to me.
Okay.
So the first thing I tell you to do is to read and to go on Facebook and just start jumping into all the groups and
Okay.
seeing what actuarian's about and healing's about and people are about and star seeds and
Mhm,
like
mhm,
because there's just so many different things to speak about and to read about. It's just awesome. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, Akashic records, what are
mhm, mhm.
those?
Right,
And
right,
and you just and some people are like, I only want to be a healer. I only want
right,
to tell
right,
people their
right.
future. I only want to,
Well, so that's interesting that you're saying that because I've had my Akashic records read. I know through Anna Miranda,
okay.
and actually one of Lynn's students. She offers when they're
Yep.
learning.
I
They
had one of
offer,
Lynn's
yeah,
students too.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
had one of Lynn's students read some records, and and just like you said, a lot of that stuff. I definitely dipped my toes in, and I think that's what got me into that's the weird thing. It's like I resonate with so many modalities. You know what I mean? They all
I hear
kind
you.
of they mean the same thing to me almost. They're just like, oh well, that's just kind of a version of this, and this is that. And it's just, again, for me, it's all about energy. It's all about how your particular being connects with source. It might,
Absolutely.
it does. It's everybody's different, and just knowing that has made me. There's another broadcast I've been doing. One of the viewers from this show, Courtney, she, and I've talked about it a couple times, but so I don't mean to bore people, but it's called The Strange and Wonderful. And she came to me and we started talking offline and online off the show, and we became friends. And she said, "Yeah, I have this relationship with a doll. She's my girlfriend. I have a boyfriend who's a human, but I have a girl, a doll who's like my
Wow.
girlfriend. She's my companion." And just like you said, wow, I kind of was like, wow, a little bit. Part of me was like, wow, but part of me was like, that's really cool. I'm fascinated. I'm like,
Right.
I felt love for her. I was like, because my relationship with her was that she was a viewer of the show, and I already had this connection of with her of, hey man, you get me. For some reason you're watching me. I think she knew who Jesse was and started watching, and then again reached out to me, and we became friends. And now we do this show, and we interview, like, we had Lizard Man on, who is this guy who's in Ripley's Believe It or Not. His whole body is tattooed with green scales and a couple of other tattoos. He's
Wow.
got some body modification to do his eyebrows, and his teeth are like fangs,
Wow.
and he's the most amazing guy. We had the most amazing conversation. I literally days before the show, I was like, I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm like, this guy. And I made all of these assumptions about him. I was like, this guy is living so intentionally, like so much more than anybody else, because everything he's doing is out of pure I want to look this way, I want to be this.
Right.
and
He knows who he
and
is. Right.
and I was just so looking forward to it. And when we had this discussion, I was so right on with all of the things I was thinking about, what his motivations were and who he was.
Because
He
you're so
wasn't like,
intuitive.
yeah, he
Right.
wasn't like anything that people would stereotype with tattoos and like sideshows, because he was working in a sideshow, right? Like, sticking things through his face and doing these things. And listen, I wouldn't do that, but I certainly have seen sideshows, and I
Right.
get that it's a form of entertainment, right? And for him, he was like, I'm going to be the ultimate sideshow entertainer. Like, I'm going to go down in the books. And he
That's
made
awesome.
it so, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just so cool. And again, it's just like opened up my universe, like talking to these people and just like being
Well,
understanding
it's
the
part of consciousness, so every
yeah,
conversation that you have
yeah,
opens your awareness to something else,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
brings you to the next
Lynn,
level.
Lynn says he's so
You know?
evolved past societal expectations and is free from them. Absolutely. And it was amazing because I was talking to some people about it, like, oh, I'm so excited to talk to this guy. And some of the reactions I would get would be like, why would you do that? You're cutting off all of these opportunities for yourself, and half the people you meet won't even want to talk to you. And I said, he probably doesn't want to talk to those people because they're judging him because of what he looks like, and so he's already saved himself the trouble of having to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? It's like, and again, it was just, making those realizations when you're talking to people and just seeing how it all works. Like, I mean, again, I don't do that. I'm pretty vanilla, you know what I mean, compared to a lot of the people who come on that show. um
Wow.
but and oh my god, so last night, and I don't mean to steer off of the topic, but last night we had this guy, Michael Doolin. He was a veterinarian for 30 years, like exotic pets. He saved animals' lives. He was like well respected guy. He grew up on a farm. He had such a normal lifestyle, but he's like 69 years old now, and he looks like a lollipop girl. Like he's got these big ponytails, pink lipstick. He wears big pink dress. He like looks like a big trans superhero.
Right.
And but totally non-threatening because he's got a beard and a mustache, so he's not trying to be like a girl.
Right.
He's not like drag, you know what I mean? He's like, you can tell that he's making a statement, and he's kind of almost like, I just want to be free kind of thing. And he's not gay. And it was so amazing talking to him because he was just such an example of so many great things, like, just being so free. What Lynn was talking about, being so evolved past societal expectations. And he was telling me stories about, in the supermarket, a kid being like, "Oh my God, mommy, he's got a dress on," and the mother being like, "Oh, it's okay. Don't say anything. It's not nice." And he would lean into the kid, and he would say, "And when you get to be my age, you can dress however you want to." And the kid would be like, "Yeah." Oh. And the
That's
mother and the
awesome.
mother would be like, "Thank you so much for
Right.
not reacting and being like, like
Right.
they would expect, oh my God, this your kid's talking about me." And
Right.
he's so full of love.
Oh,
And
I
and
love
it's
that.
just, it was so amazing. I was just like, you are the coolest dude I ever met, even
Right.
though you're the weirdest looking dude I ever met. You
All
know what I
right.
mean? But it was just amazing. It was just, so
That's
anyway, well,
fantastic.
let's get back into to you and what you're doing.
That's okay.
I know people were asking, somebody asked.
Yeah. So, I just, anybody who watches your show for the next 24 hours, if they go to my website and they put in Angel, I will send them a card. I'll write them
Ooh,
up and I'll do a card for them.
look at that, an
So, or
offer
two,
on my
one or the
show.
other. Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
but you have to just go to my website and put Angel in. Just send me a link, and I'll with your email address,
Awesome.
which
Awesome.
they'll have to do anyway.
Lily
So if
says
I don't
my
get
kids
to them
never
tonight,
boring.
but
I don't know where that comes from. I love a reading, but I'm off now. It's nearly 3 a.m. Have a great show.
well,
This
she
is
can listen to the rest of the show, and
this
then
is
she
from
can
Kate.
put it in there.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Sorry.
She can come back and listen. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm just catching up. Oh, it
It,
was Anna. Anna was asking for a card, and may we ask
sure.
a psychic
You want
question?
like life's purpose, Anna?
Yes.
You're
There you
very
go.
artistic.
Yes. And Sean is here. Good evening.
So you're a healer? Wow. So you're a healer. And they're also telling me that you like yoga. So maybe it's something that you should be exercise is something that should be a big part of your life. So it's hard when I'm not at the same I don't know if
You're talking to Anna now, right? That
I'm talking
question.
to Anna.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anne,
Oh,
right?
Anne. I'm sorry. I'm saying Anne because it's Ann Iva.
Yeah.
It's like
So hold on,
it's
let me see what else we got.
confusing me visually. I'm saying Anna.
Let's get you a
Ann
card. This is
Iva.
my,
Ann Iva. And she's being specific. Can she ask specific questions?
yeah, sure. What's your question?
She's saying, if asking you, of course, if you see a romantic relationship with a man who she reconnected with recently. So something's seems like she's got something stirring in her brain. Questions.
So he does care for you very much, and I'm hearing the number 6. So that could be 6 months, 6 years, 6 days, but I'm hearing the number 6. So I do feel like something will come of it.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah. I also pulled this card, and it's agent or manner. It says your work expands as you partner with a professional who can help you, or even a boyfriend or somebody that's with you. So I feel like whoever this person is in your life is really going to help you, go to the next level with whatever you're doing.
Awesome.
And let's see here. prosperity. Your actions have resulted in incoming abundance. So you've got some money coming your way, friend. So
Awesome.
I hope things are going well for you. Yep.
Awesome. And that's awesome. Good for you. You just had a nice reading. That's wonderful. Thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Awesome.
You're
Very
welcome.
nice. Thank you, she says. Very cool. So, all right. Well, I think we're coming up on an hour. I'm starting to sweat because I always have to turn off my air conditioner when I do this because it's too loud and it
You have
makes
to melt to
shows.
sit here with me.
So I start melting. Do you have anything you want to share with our audience
Um,
before we wrap it up? Do you have
just, I guess, God sees, hears, and takes people out of your life for a reason. So know that when people leave your life or whatever it may be, it's because they're not supposed to be here anymore, and just know that, there's a plan for everything happening in your life. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I wish you all love and light and healing. And I sent healing to everybody on the show before I got here. So I
awesome.
just want you to know. So all of your followers and all the people that are watching it tonight, I sent
Another
healing.
parting gift from my guest
That's right.
today. Everybody already received. You should be getting it soon if you haven't already.
That's
Um,
right. You
some
already have it. Drink lots of water.
from love and light, drink lots of water. Yeah, I'm actually that was what I was just about to do.
Ditto.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And
Thank you.
we definitely will have you back. If
Thank you.
you write any books or anything, let us know, or
Coming.
do anything that you want to promote, even an appearance or something like that, you can let us know.
Thank you. I will. I'm
And
going to be doing a healing at some point. So I'm
okay,
working
where's
on a
that?
date now. So I'm going to be putting together, I'm going to be sending out healing, period.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'll put something together and I'll get that out there
We'll
soon.
see it on your website, I guess.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Thank
So,
you. Julie says thank you. She loves you too.
oh, that's
Uh,
so sweet. Love you too. Thank you.
Ninja Kitty says thank you. So those are some of my regular viewers sending you back that love.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Mwah. Love and light.
Good to see. All right. Well, next week I've got Angel Eyes on, I think. Let me just double check. Is it Angel Eyes next week? August 11th, Angel Eyes Dawn Marie is coming on the show. She's also doing really good things. I see her live all the time. I see her, just building up a following of people who totally resonate with her and feel her, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build up community. So if you would please, I hate doing this, but go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps me. Comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought of my wonderful guest, Mindy, when we should have her back. We get kisses from Jilly. Mwah. Oh, thank you. Oh, I love the thanks. I love you guys being here. It really helps. We're co-creating, right? We're just
Absolutely.
creating our reality, and that's what this show is. I
That's
didn't
right.
have a show before. What the heck is this? This is like
Right.
I've got something now. I got somewhere I got to be every Thursday. It's crazy. Crazy.
All good things, though.
It's all good things.
That's
All right.
right.
I love you all. I will see you guys next week. Mindy, thank you again so
Thank you
much.
so much for having me.
Peace. Peace.